are y'all with the cult?
Well, Mr. Kojima, it's been 3 years. You were on this stage with us in 2019, where you won Best Game Direction. DS2 has been announced. What can you tell us? How is it going to be different than DS1?
I don't know.
Hideo Kojima, everyone. DS2. Mr. Kojima, thank you so much. Rocky, thank you.
Yeah, this is it.
I think it's safe to say that Hideo Kojima has a lot of people by the balls, because the dog shit coming out of some people's mouths through videos and posts really encapsulates what's wrong with modern gaming. And quite frankly, the cult-like behavior towards this hipster doofus has gotten out of hand. With Death Stranding 2 finally being in the hands of the cult of Kojima, the dick riding has commenced, from video essay snobs cosplaying as Fraser Crane to ball and gun gamers whose favorite words are bruh and my nigga, all in the attempt to try and deflect any criticism towards Kojima and Death Stranding 2 as the critics not understanding the game. Yeah, sure, Einstein. Did you come up with that conclusion after watching recap videos of Death Stranding 1 and hour-long reviews of the game? Or maybe you guys would like to explain in detail what the story is about, and try not to copy and paste anything from Wikipedia. While a story can be engaging or boring, one thing has to gel with people, that being gameplay. And from what I've seen and heard about the gameplay in Death Stranding 2 is that it's nothing special. In fact, most people have been ignoring the gameplay while trying to dress it up like every mechanic in the game is so thoughtful and groundbreaking, basically saying the same shit they were saying about Death Stranding 1, to the point where Kojima should have called this game Death Stranding 2 Deja Vu. I mean, what's there to say about the gameplay anyway? Basic shooting and stealth? Laughably clunky hand-to-hand combat with enough slow motion to get fans of the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movies to break out in applause. On top of that, you have more pretentious mechanics such as walking carefully while carrying packages. I swear, if this wasn't made by Kojima, his loyalists would be shitting on the gameplay. Hell, if Kojima made that game baby steps, you clowns would be glazing that game to no end. Let's call it what it is. Death Stranding 2, along with his predecessor, is liberal arts museum slop. The majority of you people got a hard-on for this game because of its graphics, Hollywood cast characters, and that it's made by Kojima. Like I said before, if this was made by anyone else, you guys would not be going hard praising this game. In fact, most of you would have ignored this game if Kojima was not involved. Enough with the bogus claim that Kojima is based. He's the opposite of based. Now, you can make the argument that he was based years ago, but if you think he would have story and dialogue similar to what was in early Metal Gear games, then you're as confused as him. Death Stranding 1 had a Hillary Clinton stand-in as president who had to help bring the world together after the 2016 election, while Sam is surrounded by strong women that basically tell him what to do. Rinse and repeat in Death Stranding 2. Now throw in Temu Solid Snake and Deborah Wilson for DEI points. Oh yeah, so based. So based that Kojima still has that OD game that he's working with known racists who make shit movies, Jordan Peele. Death Stranding 2 is one of the many things wrong with gaming. Fanboys are pussy whipped by a Japanese guy who wishes he was an American living in LA, where all he has to do is make a game with pretty graphics and everyone will gloss over everything else. And this is why we get games that feel more like movies, why we see developers get treated with more respect than law enforcement and armed forces, Why games constantly have you do slow walking segments, examining objects just to show how realistic a picture frame or a coffee cup is. Why games are set in huge empty worlds, yet dimwits screech about how rocks and pebbles look on the ground, and why stories are forgettable because all these developers have to do is have a Hollywood cast of characters and a story the equivalent of a splotch of paint on an empty canvas hanging on the wall in some pretentious museum, while socialist theater kids hold their Starbucks coffee with both hands and stare at it in amazement. If games like Death Stranding 2 is considered peak or Game of the Year material, the gaming is really doomed. Games like this being called a masterpiece just shows how far gaming has fallen and how people have become the lowest common denominator along with the normies and modern audience. Stay connected to your Lord and Savior Kojima. Maybe he'll invite you to his wedding with Jeff Keighley on the beach. While many spent years saying fuck Konami, what you should have been saying was fuck Kojima, because it's clear he's not the genius many make him out to be.
After experiencing the pandemic, I just rewrote the whole thing, the story from scratch.
もう未来を予測したくないのでそうならないように作りましょう。
I wish my brother George was here.
I also didn't want to predict any more future, so I rewrote it.
OK DS2 制作中なんですけども、もう一つとんがったゲームがありまして、そちらは、
Yippity yappity yappity. My good man, what are you going on about?
Very prolific, and we love you for it. Hideo Kojima, everyone. DS2. Mr. Kojima, thank you so much. Aki, thank you.
Good night, all. Kiss, kiss.